So we are seeing bizarre things going on in stores. People are stealing, looting stores, and you see employees videotaping it, and it's just horrible. It's terrible, and stores are shutting down. And I just couldn't believe what I read, and I looked into it again today. So earlier this month, May 2023, a guy with a knife cutter was threatening an employee. And an employee was like, he has a knife. And so they restrained him and called the police. And now these five employees of King Soopers have been fired. And so, of course, they've lost income. And it's like this defies common sense. They got fired because they called the police. Now this is King Soopers, and the only time, like before I moved to Colorado, I'd never heard of King Soopers. I only heard about it because there were shootings, and like when I heard there was a King Soopers here, I was like, do I even want to go? Like, you know, and so I'm in Denver, but this was at a different King Soopers somewhere else in Colorado. And the Denver King Soopers has like police, it has armed guards. So I don't understand how another King Soopers fires employees for calling the police. Uh, and the thing is, so companies take out insurance policies on employees. They do it without letting employees know. And so I'm wondering if these crazy situations that we're seeing, making employees get injected, and if people have a real severe reaction to the injections or to anything else that's required by the job, if that person dies, businesses make money off of their employees' death. So there's an incentive for businesses to murder their employees. So I'm wondering if that's what King Supers want is they because they told so employees cannot call the police at King Supers. This is Colorado. Absolute bedlam. Colorado is an insane asylum run by the inmates. People are just worst people, worst situation. Even the Christians and stuff, like there's something diabolical about Denver or Colorado. And King Supers has a history of shooters, and now they fire employees for calling the police when there's a customer with a knife. And like any other situation, if this was on a flight, that customer would be in prison for a few years. And this the customer with the knife has a criminal background. He's a criminal with a knife, trying to like negotiate just getting a ticket or something like that after he threatened and endangered people. And this criminal also made these five people lose their jobs. They got fired for some crazy King Supers policy. So, as much as I don't want to, because King Super is it's a convenience store. It's just it's my kind of store. But I am going to boycott King Super, and I told them this, and I encourage you to contact King Super and say that this is terrible. Because the thing is, King Super should tell their employees, you can't call the police. We're going to follow you. We're going to fire you if you call the police. So yeah, I guess what King Supers is saying. Yeah, customers are going to murder you, and that's just how it's got to be. So you are a slave of these murderers. Because the thing is, if King Supers does have a life insurance policy on the employee, like how much do they get? Is it 300,000? So they're pissed they didn't get their $300 from the murdered employee. That's the only logic I can think of. Like I have never in all of my life in jobs, knowing people with jobs, never have I heard of anybody saying they would have gotten fired. The only time anybody gets fired when they call the police is if they're um, a criminal that's like doing drugs or prostitution or something like that. Like it's only criminals that get in trouble if you call the police. And so, um, yeah, shame on King Soopers. It's just it's insanity. You know who King Soopers should fire? They should fire the manager that fired those 5 people. Those 5 people, they responded. They maintained people's safety. They actually did something. I mean, everybody in the world seems to be medicated and indifferent and shut down and just just non-responsive. I've seen videos of like this one white lady, you know, she stabs this white lady's child in the face multiple times, and the mother just stands there and looks offended as her child's face is being stabbed again and again. Like uh, insanity, insanity. So uh, so I think, you know, boycott King Soopers until they either need to give those people their jobs back or compensate them, and or both. Because this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. If a customer has a knife and is threatening employees, like that's it. Like, like you call the police. That's what we're told. And if King Soopers is taking out insurance policies, somebody needs to do an audit on King Soopers. Did King Super take out insurance, life insurance? Maybe when the shooters happen, maybe that's because King Soopers wants to make money. I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't put it past them. You know, if they were so despicable to fire employees that were defending themselves and they were doing the responsible thing. We are told you call the police if there's some kind of altercation. Uh, so, you know, so it seems very shady what this King Soopers is doing. And I think somebody needs to audit King Soopers. Are you your do you get something? Do you want your customers to be murdered? Do you have some sort of insurance that you're trying to uh, get money from? You know, because that's what all these companies, they're about their bottom line. They're not about the safety of their employees or their customers. You know, it's all just how much can they bend and get away with to get more profit for, you know, that CEO or whoever is the maniac that's making all this crazy money, and exploiting the vulnerable. So yeah, so I hate to do this. It is really inconvenient, but I'm going to boycott King Soopers. I encourage you to boycott King Soopers, and you know, just keep on top of that situation with those employees. I put the link to one of the articles. Doesn't seem like anything past May 12th has been updated. And yeah, shame on you, King Soopers. This is just absolute insanity. And shame on any other companies that do this kind of ridiculous thing that punishes your employees for doing what's common sense and what's the precedent. You know, if you're not supposed to call the police when you've been attacked by a criminal with a knife, number one, that's evil. But number two, you got to tell your employee that you can't fire them after the fact. That seems like that seems to violate some sort of obvious agreement. It's just like, just because somebody doesn't want you to rape them, you can't fire them. I mean, that seems like a human rights issue or something. But we know human rights in cities don't care. You know, we know they're the opposite of human rights. They're globalist rights. They're Satan's rights over you. You know, I mean, it's just there's no justice, except for, you know, a few handful of people who are willing to confront somebody with a knife. You know, I was on the bus yesterday and some white guy young white man, angry, came on the bus with his skateboard, banging, banging, banging his skateboard, scaring the wits out of us. Who's the majority of people that's riding a bus? It's usually women, or it's younger people, and generally it's like younger people of color. Um, like maybe first generation Mexican or uh, whatever. It's just people with a low income. And so this asshole gets on the bus, bangs his skateboard everywhere on the chairs and stuff, scaring people. And nobody does anything. There's like two bigger guys sitting in the back, CEO, office kind of types, and one East Indian guy sitting, small guy. Um, and and the thing is, we're terrorized. Uh, people taking the bus, people walking on the street, and now people in stores are being terrorized, not not only by criminal, mentally ill people. We're being terrorized by businesses, by city municipalities that don't care about the safety of citizens, of the shoppers or the people walking on the street. Like, cities don't care about our safety, and they're making it abundantly clear. And I think what cities want is they want people to get assaulted and murdered because it's going to make them money. I'm thinking, I don't know, because this doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that you have violent, mentally ill, crazy people running around. You're busy, city, spending money on rainbows or illegal immigrant housing or festivals or whatever, spending all this money. So there's a lot of money. There's a lot of money in Colorado, but they're not addressing this mental illness, drug addiction thing. As a matter of fact, it's all about, you look at the paper, every ad is about pot. It's like every, every other store is about pot that you're walking down the street. They're like, just buy drugs, become a homeless person. This is the ad. I don't know if you can see it. Become a homeless person that you sleep on the street. This is Denver, downtown Denver. So, become a guy who's so wasted out of your head and you're just zoning out at the couch. I don't know if it's, become psychotic. That's what Denver's about. Denver's like, come to Colorado and do drugs until you're psychotic. And then the rest of us have to deal with this. So, anyways, I think it's money, and it's some type of warfare against the law-abiding people that just want to live, because why else do you have dangerous people cornering vulnerable, innocent people? I grew up in New York, and there was the big Bernard Goetz situation of 4 black guys attacking one white guy on the subway, and the white guy shoots him, and he has to pay them $1 million for shooting them when he was being threatened. And that's this. There's some sort of weird psychotic kind of thing. It's like and the current thing that happened in New York recently, that when you defend yourself, you are punished. So what King Soopers is like saying, don't defend yourself. You got to die. You got to die because this crazy person wants to do whatever they want. That's what King Soopers is saying. That's what New York City is saying. That's what, so many places are saying, is like, oh yeah, if some mentally ill, violent person wants to hurt you, well, we're gonna put you in jail if you defend yourself, if you do anything about it. That's what, we're gonna fire you, So this is what world we're in, and I'm sure there's some common sense people who, you guys are all like in your bunkers, you're not involved in the world, and you just left us to rot out here. And is that bringing glory to God? I think like women, and the thing is, who was the majority of the people? I think it was like 3 women and 2 men. It's like women are having to face these violent, mentally ill people or these criminals. And, there's only so much one woman can do or two women can do. It's only so much. We're not warriors. So, yeah, this is terrible. Like the workplace is hard enough. Life is hard enough than to be like, oh yeah, okay, so somebody could just come and slash me up, and I'll go to jail if I defend myself. If like employees, I'll go to jail if I defend myself, or I'll lose my job if I defend myself. Like what like the more I think about this, the more it upsets me. So, what do you guys think? Should people just allow themselves to be murdered and chopped up and kidnapped because their employers don't want any publicity, don't want the police called? Is this a good angle, good behavior? Is this a good uh, practical approach of dealing with violent, mentally ill, drug addicted criminals? So, anyways, I am starting my boycott today. Thanks for watching. God bless.